Confucius. N. The tendency of fallenness in man. The decadence of the way. Tien Cong Tran, Ph.D. Chapter 1. The tendency of fallenness in man. The way always appears to man, but man tends to forget it. This forgetting takes place in three situations: fallenness, forgetting the way, difficulty of following the way, and hypocrisy. 1. Fallenness. There are two realities, the way and material. Fallenness is the word that is chosen to indicate the fact man chooses material and abandons the way. Fallenness has a bad meaning because the way constitutes the essence of man. Confucius sees clearly that man prefers unbenevolence to benevolence. Man prefers being an animal to being a man. Man prefers sensual desires to the way. The Master said, "I have never seen anyone who loves benevolence, nor one who loathes unbenevolence." The Master said, "Who can go out without passing through the doorway? How is it that no one will follow the way?" The Master said, "I have never seen anyone who loves virtue as much as he loves beautiful women." The Master said, "A superior man and yet not always virtuous, there had been such cases. But there never has been an inferior man and yet doing a virtuous deed. Why does man love unbenevolence more than benevolence?" Confucius saw that fact, and we do not see him looking for the reason. But he saw that it is the way that constitutes the essence of man. That is why he traveled to teach the way. If life had been full of the way, Confucius would not have taught it. It was the same with the Buddha and Jesus. The voice of the way was very strong to them. To teach the way, Confucius traveled all his life. The Buddha abandoned a kingdom and Jesus was crucified. 2. Difficulty in following the way. Even when the way is acknowledged, it is still difficult to follow. The narrow road brings paradise, but it is thorny. Devils have their power. Only the sages can escape the temptation of devils. The Master said, "Perfect is the way of the mean. Rare have they long been among the people, who could practice it." The Master said, "Men all say, we are wise, but being driven forward and taken in a net, a trap, or a pitfall, they know not how to escape. Men all say, we are wise, but happening to choose the way of the mean, they are not able to keep it for a round month. The constant mean as a virtue is sublime indeed. People have been unable to practice it for a long time." Yan Yuan, with a deep sigh, said, "The more I raise my eyes to my Master's way, the higher it seems, the more I penetrate it, the harder it becomes. I see it before me, but suddenly it is behind me. However, the Master is good at guiding me on step by step, broadening me with culture and restraining with the rules of propriety so that even if I want to stop, I cannot do so. Having exhausted my ability, I still seem to find something standing high above me. Though I wish to follow it, I really find no way to do so." 3. Hypocrisy. Man lives to live in fallenness. But in his own heart, he knows the preciousness of the way. The Mencius says, "The people turn to benevolence as water flows downwards, and as wild beasts fly to the wilderness." That is why there are persons who are evil in their hearts but show honesty in their faces. Such a person may be called a hypocrite. The Master said, "Sweet words and a polished countenance have indeed little benevolence in them." The Master said, "I hate purple because it usurps the place of red. I hate the songs of Zheng because they confound classical music. I hate the glib-tongued because they overthrow kingdoms and families." Confucius hates hypocrites most. The Master said, "The honest men of the villages harm virtue. The honest men here denote the hypocrites in the villages. They can cause the false feeling that they are very virtuous, but indeed they are evil in their hearts. Jesus criticized, with heavy words, the chief priests and scribes. There are only two ways, benevolence and unbenevolence. This, material, world is unbenevolence. Those who talk about benevolence and righteousness on the basis of this world are false. Those who do not depend on the way and talk about justice are hypocrites. They harm virtue, they cause the wrong idea that there is a virtuous and just material world. Chapter 2. Decadence of the Way. Confucius often talked about Yao and Shun as sages who reigned China. But Yao, 2356–2255, and Shun, 2255–2205, lived 17 centuries before Confucius, 551–479. Confucius saw from the time of Yao and Shun to his time, the way had suffered decadence. The master said, "If the way should fail to prevail, I would board a raft and float to sea. The one to follow me would probably be you." The master said, "I wish to speak no more." The master said, "I know how it is that the way is not walked in. The knowing go beyond it. The stupid do not come up to it. I know how it is that the way is not brightened. The talented and virtuous go beyond it. The ordinary do not come up to it. There is nobody but eats and drinks. But they are few who can distinguish flavors." The master said, "Alas! How is the way untrodden?" According to Mencius, after King Wen the way has gradually gone into a decline. The world fell into decay. The way faded away. Perverse speakings and oppressive deeds waxed rife again. There were instances of ministers who murdered their sovereigns, and of sons who murdered their fathers. Confucius was afraid and wrote Spring and Autumn Annals. Not only Confucius saw the decadence of the way. Numerous people also saw it. They still reminded Confucius that if the way could not be trodden, why he tried to teach it. Tsolu lodged at Stone Gate. The morning gatekeeper said, "Where from?" Tsolu said, "From Kung family." The gatekeeper said, "Is it the man who knows it cannot be done yet keeps trying?" Some saw the decadence of the way and was afraid to Confucius. Socrates was sentenced to death. Jesus was crucified. Chu's madman Gu passed by Confucius, singing, "O Phoenix! O Phoenix! How thy way has declined! What has gone by is beyond remonstration. What is to come may yet be repaired. Give up! Give up! Perilous are those engaged in government today." Regarding the distinction between material and the way, is our time of technology not the time of the complete forgottenness of the way? Where can we find justice in our society? Is it not true that hypocrites and professional liars are governing the world?